All right, you hear no one yet? You can hear now? Okay, good, good, good. All right, I am not seeing my own VU meter go up and down, but if you're hearing me, then I'm going to assume that I am indeed going live. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be in Gundabad doing the Pits of Stonejaws in a bit, but we do have some news, and on top of that, we have a guest. So, sitting quietly in the background until this very moment is Lotro producer Reninia. How you doing, Reninia?
I'm doing okay. It's
All right.
Friday for a long weekend. How are you
It
doing, Cord?
is doing good. It is a long weekend, and we have a crafting boost going into effect. Well, went into effect, and it runs through the weekend. That's 25% crafting XP, so that's our bonus for the weekend. And we do have the event schedule all up and ready in its current state. It needs a couple of things to fill it out yet, but most of the year is done, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that, as well as the release notes we got this week and the release notes. Well, I don't have the release notes yet for next week, but I do know that we have a patch for next week. So, Virginia, can you tell me, this is a smaller bug fixing patch next Wednesday, right?
Correct. Yeah.
31.1.3, if I recall.
Yeah, this is gonna activate T4 and T5 for Houses of Rest. There's a couple little things in there that we need to fix to make sure that that goes live well. There's also the session play issue that folks have been noticing as a result of the patch that we put out this Wednesday. And I think that those are the two big things. There might be some smaller bug fixes in there as well, but yeah, small stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. I can turn Reninia up slightly on my end here, so that should take care of that. All right. He's a bit quiet. He is a bit quiet. Most people are a bit quiet compared to me. I don't know why that is,
You're
but
very boisterous.
yeah. I've got a loud, booming voice. I'm the one I can get called, like, if we really need someone to shout so that the whole office can hear. I'm your man. I am your man. I can do it. So, all right. So we wanted to actually talk about something a little bit more significant that we did this week. So we started this week with an announcement. Well, I guess it was a couple of days ago now, that we were planning to do some changes to Embers, motes, and figments. And we've since pulled back on those plans. But since it was sort of the talk of the town this week, and Reninia had been a part of a lot of that conversation, we felt it might be good to just kind of bring him on here briefly, even though we are pulling back on this, just to do a little bit of Q&A related to it and talk a little bit about it. So overall, what we were planning to do would be to significantly increase the caps of our Embers, figments, and motes, but then also do sort of some shifting to the way that they're earned and acquired, with an idea of, I guess, to some extent providing balance and kind of a more sustainable path forward for these economies. That said, we clearly have a little more work to do on it yet. So after a couple of days of feedback, it was pretty clear that it wasn't quite ready yet. So we've pulled back on the idea, maybe for good, maybe not. And I guess, what are your thoughts on it at this point then, Oleg?
Yeah, I think that we definitely learned a lot from the feedback that we got from the conversations that I was having with folks in the forums, with folks on other places. I think that people made a lot of good points that we hadn't fully considered, so that's why we want to take this back and think about it some more. I don't think I don't think that the place we're at right now with Embers, Motes, and Figments is a place that is where we want to be. But I think it's for sure what the changes we suggested were not the changes that we're going to improve that enough, clearly. So we're going to take some more time. We're going to spend more time thinking about it, but it's definitely going to be backburnered for a while. We have several other things that we're working on for the coming months and this year. So it's going to be a slower conversation for a while. Like you said, it's gone but not forgotten for now.
Yeah. Yep. And as part of that original plan, but also future plans, it is worth mentioning we are looking for ways to improve those economies and offer a variety of ways to get them. So even though we're pulling back really to what it was even before Bull Roar, so whatever it is in the live world today is what it's going to be going forward here.
Yep.
We could in the future maybe find some new places to put Figments of Splendor, for example, or even Embers themselves. Will undergo probably some changes in the future, but this particular plan isn't really going to be it. So
Yeah, I don't think we're going to walk away from some of the places that we want to put those things.
yeah.
Those were some of those we're going to have to be more careful about. We want to be mindful that the caps are lower, so we don't want to give you large sources of stuff that you can't really use effectively. But we are going to be more mindful of that kind of stuff, and some of the things that were brought up aren't even fully connected to those, or I shouldn't say not exclusively connected to those. Like some of the things that folks mentioned around the raid loot system, for example. Those are things that we want to look at regardless of what we do with Embers, motes, and figments.
Yeah, so we actually did just have a question on that in Twitch chat about what about adjusting how chest locks, loot locks, all that sort of thing work, because that is part of the overall kind of consideration that has to be done related to these economies.
Yeah, we did do some changes to the quest system with sorry, not quest system, with the instance lock system with Gundabad. So far, we think those are going relatively okay, but obviously the raid's going to change that, and T4, T5 of HOR is going to change that. I've seen some frustration around that on the forums. I think that's something we want a little bit more data around to see
Yeah.
how that's really playing before we make a hard determination. But I do get the folks' point that, if we are making some of these broader changes, the way that the loot lock system plays into that, might require additional changes for it that we hadn't fully considered. And just to answer the quick question that someone threw in chat, yes, this is a FC Barcelona shirt. This is an old Messi jersey that I've had for, God, at least a
Really?
decade, I want to say.
Nice. In case anyone's wondering, because you can see the logo, this is a Bruce exploitation film poster
Nice.
that is put on a T-shirt from 1978. It was a film where someone allegedly pretending to be Bruce Lee returns from the grave and such, and it's just a really classic looking kind of movie poster cover like that. All right, so I wanted to get to the only people I haven't yet addressed is Facebook. Let me quick go through Facebook, see if we have anything related to this subject before we do actually have a couple of other subjects I wanted to get to before we let you go and let me kind of get back to. Apparently, I am in the middle of combat and I just died. So let me.
That's what you get for hiding your screen from yourself.
That is what I get for hiding my screen from myself.
While you look at Facebook real quick, there's a
Yep.
question I'm seeing here asking when the new raid will be available on Bull Roar.
Yes.
So our hope is that you'll get a first look at the raid next week on Bull Roar. The work has been going into that. I think that we've gotten to a point where some of the fights are visible. The whole thing probably won't be visible next week, but at least part of the raid should be visible at that time.
What do we know about the raid so far? Like, what can we tell people about it?
Oh, I kind of don't want to spoil the mystery too much. We said before that it's a multi-boss raid. We don't have just one. We know that Rimmel is going to be a big part of that raid. Her boss fight looks pretty cool from what I've seen so far. There's going to be some interesting twists, I think, in the story of the raid. Just to wrap up Gundabad nicely. Reward track next week as well. That's our hope. That's our hope that both those things will be visible. Reward track won't be done when when we put it into Bull Roar. There still will be some pieces that we're working on, but it hopefully should be. I need to check with the team when I get off of this to make sure that I didn't completely screw them. But
I am having some kind of issue. I'm not actually seeing my Facebook video, but I think I'm going. No, here we are. Finally, it just took a while. For some reason, it was not working. All right, there might be a brief bit of double chat here for a second. There we go. All right, there we go. For some reason, Facebook was being weird with me today. All right, let me go through that chat. Sorry.
Sure. Question here around when class balance work will start showing up. The class balance work is in progress, but it's lower priority now than some of the gearing stuff around the raid, specifically making sure that raid set bonuses are working. I would suspect that some of the class balance stuff that you'll see first will be around the brawler. I think warden stuff that we do is going to be much smaller, maybe in next bull roar, but probably a bull roar or two after that.
All right. This is the question I wanted to get to. I've now got Facebook squared away. It looks like we've answered basically all the questions except for one I'll get to a little bit later because we do have something a little more significant that kind of came up on the forums this week, and I wanted to make sure that we kind of gave our intention on that, and that is what's up with ill omens. We
Oh,
actually had a
yes.
question about that, saying because I had mentioned that we really wanted to take another look at Ill Omens, I think, before we roll it out to the live worlds. But historically, at least last time, I think we had done that in like February. So there was a little bit of question about, well, does that mean that there won't be an Ill Omens this year? And I thought it might be just real good to just real quick chat about that.
Yeah. So Ill Omens is an interesting event. I've gotten the download from the team. I haven't personally played it myself. The place that we keep running into with Ill Omens is that it's this bigger event that we haven't really consistently supported in a way that players have really enjoyed. I know about portents; those didn't go over super well. So what we're hoping to do is take that out of the rotation this year, and then hopefully go back to it later in the year and think about it more for 2023 and how we can improve it in a way that players will enjoy more. That's ultimately our goal is with these events is they're enjoyable things that you really want to engage with, not just for the rewards.
Yep.
So Ill Omens certainly is not gone forever. It's just a question of when we can do it, and that won't be this year, unfortunately.
Yep. Okay. I
Question
think, yeah,
here, if there's going to be a
go
story
for it.
catch-up quest for the raid. It's a good question. I'm not sure. I'd have to check with the team. I'm not. I don't want to speak for them because I didn't specifically ask about that.
Yeah.
Another question
I
here.
could
Oh, sorry,
mention,
Cordova, go ahead.
I just would mention it since we're kind of talking about things this week. We did have Bull Roar up. That's going to be closing here
Yep.
within a couple of hours. But that was our housing update here for update 32 beta 3. That, Erebor housing was the main point of preview, but there were some other things on there as well, including some adjustments to Den of Puglok, Houses of Rest, and tier 4 and 5 of Houses of Rest as well. Now,
Mhm.
the reason I bring that up is that we also have plans to do further bull roars. I believe they're currently scheduled for the next 2 weeks, if I'm looking at the
At
calendar
least, I
correctly.
think.
So, do you know what we can expect in next week's bull roar?
Yeah. So the first fight of the raid, I would expect to be visible next week. I would also expect to see the reward track. Um, you know, we've been trying to get that to a place where it's finally ready for you folks to see. It was one of those things where there's a lot of things that had to come together before we were really able to show it off.
Yeah.
So those are the two things mainly that you should look forward to. Some more progress in the angle if folks have been jumping around in there. It still won't be super playable yet, but you'll have an opportunity to explore the wilderness a bit more before the quests and such come in. I think that those are the big ticket items for next week's bull roar. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but nothing's
Yeah,
coming to mind.
that's the most I can think of too, and so that's good. That's good to kind of get that. So I don't want to take actually your full hour here. I want to do some questing in that too. But do we have any kind of final questions or last couple of questions maybe from chat we wanted to take a look at?
Yeah. Let me tackle a couple of these real quick. Question here from Hobbitmeister about the progress on the legacy servers. So those are. So I am expecting to hear next week from the team about a schedule for when those will finally be available. But those are actively right now being basically migrated on our internal stuff so that it works with the live servers. And I'll know next week what that schedule looks like, and then I'll work with Cord to figure out how we message what that schedule will actually look like in terms of when folks will be able to get their characters off. But we are entering the home stretch, which is really exciting. It's been going on for a long time. Question here from Exogenesis9 around what kind of brawler stuff is coming, pure numbers tuning or some mechanical tweaks. Some mechanical tweaks, but it's mostly going to be numbers. We know on the DPS side, it's just it's undertuned. And so we're going to start with numbers and see how that plays out before we go too hard into the mechanics.
I have a question from Facebook from a Daniel asking, is there any thoughts about maybe a quality of life patch or update here in the relatively near future? That would be maybe more of a bug-focused patch, perhaps.
So we've done a couple of patches that are bug focused. If you're thinking more of like an update, those are always a bit trickier because updates for us is sort of our big beats over the course of a year, and so we really want to release new content for that. We know there's lots of players that really are interested in having new stuff. There's definitely players, lots of you who want the quality of life stuff. So we're trying to sprinkle that stuff in there as we go. One of the quality of life things that actually you can see on the Bull Roar this week is we went ahead and we bumped up the duration of all consumables that you're getting from like the store or boxes, the leveling boxes and stuff like that, to 6 hours. So some of them were 30 minutes, some of them were 90 minutes, some of them were an hour, some of them were 2 hours. We're trying to basically standardize that at a good length. We think that that'll be much better. And additionally, I believe this fix is already in, but those things should no longer decrement when you're not playing the game. So as long as you're in the game, you're going to get that benefit. It's not going to go away while you're logged out.
All right, perennial Twitch chat question: what's up with bridles? When are you going to add bridles to the game? Or if do LI bridles to the game? Yes.
Yeah, not with 32. We're still aware of that. We're still thinking about how we want to solve that issue, but that's going to be with 33 or later.
I saw on YouTube. Do we have an LI level bump in update 32? Do you know?
Yes, there will be a level bump for the LIs in 32. I don't remember what the number is specifically, but that will probably make its way to Bull Roar sooner rather than later.
Oh, and we currently have a bug on session play. We should mention that real quick. That's a patch that's in the works, but right now I understand session play is a little messed up.
Yeah, it's basically a little bit harder than we want it to be right now. The short version is that we made some changes to the way that some backend stuff worked, and that unfortunately affected session play in a way that we didn't expect. We managed to fix it very quickly, but that fix didn't make it into the patch that we put out, so it will be in the next patch that's coming Wednesday.
Okay.
Saw another question here around just continued questions around lag.
Mm-hmm.
So we did put out some improvements with the patch this past week. We have another improvement that's planned for the patch this week, which is it has been tested in Bull Roar quietly for the past few weeks, and it's looking good. Just continuing to chip away at that, and we have more work that we are planning for 32. We might end up doing another patch for that. That's still in discussion. But we have a smaller window to make that decision in, so we'll tell you about that as soon as we can.
Yeah, we at least have a bug fix patch. It's probably something like next Wednesday. But there may be one perhaps the week after that as well. I think that one is a little more tentative at this point. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I don't know. I think we're going to let you go, and I will move on to the rest of the news and the show here today. So thanks so much. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes with us here on this Friday in January. Now get back to work. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Thank you, Cord. I appreciate taking the time, and excited to see players' reactions to 32. The timeline that we have for that is still the timeline that we mentioned in the producer's letter. So look forward to it. You'll see it soon.
All right. Sounds
Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy your weekends.
Thanks. All right, look, mirror. Take care of that. Okay. Now, I still don't see my VU meter, so I feel off not knowing. To me, I look muted, but you guys are telling me you hear me, so I'm just going to have to trust the truth rather than my own eyes. All right, so one thing I wanted to do before I got into the game here quick is go over the event schedule, because we do have an event schedule that went up this week. We do still have a few things to work on here, but this is kind of a general sense of what we can expect here in the short term. So we've got Crafting XP this weekend. Then we got one of those loot box Embers motes boosts. Then a Virtue XP boost. That'll be towards the end of January. Hobnanigans will make an appearance the first weekend of February. Then Skirmish Marks. Got a VIP event boost happening in February as well. Anyway, the Spring Festival, currently set for March 17th to begin. Most of these dates are pretty solid. I mean, they could certainly change as we get closer to it based on, whatever's going on development-wise at that time and patch-wise at that time. But most likely that'll be what the actual dates are for this stuff. We do have the anniversary event beginning on the 20th of April and running through May 10th. Of this year. In addition, the anniversary gift usually goes till April 1st of the following year, and that will be the case this year, presumably, as well. We have a buried treasure event happening in May. Treasure Boogan in July. Midsummer, June 16th through July 10th. Farmers Fair, August 9th through the 29th. And then a few other things here as well that you can find the full schedule on. And we do have a few gaps that we'll probably fill in. And I already heard that people like this Gundabad Geode boost. We brought that out as an option just to see if people would like it. And it kind of sounds like the answer is yes. So if you want, we could certainly be doing some more Gundabad Geode boosts here in 2022 here. It seems like that would be the time to do it. Eventually, it's going to be less valuable as geodes, become less interesting to people. But as long as you're into it, we're into it too. So maybe we should put that back on the calendar in the relatively near future. Yes. Sorry, Todd, about last Saturday's login issues. We all ended up having to, besides you not being able to get in to the games, we all got really kind of pulled in throughout the morning at work. We didn't have much of a weekend, at least not much of a Saturday, last Saturday, thanks to some unfortunate, I think it ended up having to be some kind of DNS-related thing that had to get action on. Do I know when the Figment NPCs will change? I think there's still some flexibility there, but I would have to look that up. Maybe I can do that in a little bit here. I'm trying to find some questions here. I'm not quite seeing anything. So maybe I'm just going to pop in game then, and we'll do that instead. So what have I got going on? I am working on the Pit of Stonejaws. And that. There I am. All right. I'm just real quick making sure that I'm up on top of all things I wanted to talk about this show, and I am. Oh, we have a casual stroll next week. I do want to mention that. The casual stroll through the next region will be on the 19th, and that'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/LotroStream. So I do want to make sure that we call that one out. That'll be next week. So we do have a casual stroll next Wednesday here, so that's cool. And then also, this is the day and the long weekend of Winter Stock 9. You know, let me actually drop that LotroArtists.com website up real quick, because I did want to call out Winter Stock 9's happening this weekend. That's going to be a pretty cool time. So if you're into it, that actually kicks off at 2 o'clock Eastern today. This is on Landreval by Thorin's Gate. And you can see that it really goes, you know, all the way through midnight today. But that's not all. It's also Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's a big, massive blowout of an event, and that's taking place really all weekend on Landreval. So you do want to check that one out. If you are into concerts at all, and good luck to all the performers and such taking part this weekend. Wow! All right. I will never not do that, by the way. You know this is true. I'm going to just basically take a little cruise through Stonejaws, and that'll be that. So we'll do that for a little bit. I really can't, I really don't have anything to say about, like, console ports and graphic updates. I really just don't have anything I can say about that. Sorry. I see a bunch of people asking questions, kind of hoping I would get to it, but I just don't have anything to announce, so. Not much to really say there. So I'm meeting up with peeps in the pit of Stonejaws here in Fedagundabad. I hope you're having a good time in Fedagundabad, and hope you're enjoying the instances and what have you as well. Take care of a few things here. You know, I'm pretty good at over picking up aggro and then dying, but I would rather not. Thank you. It's a pretty creepy looking thing. Look at that. I don't want that in your kitchen. Oh, I know why it seems quiet. It's because I turned the volume down. Let me turn that back up so that we hear combat sounds and what have you. There we are. Much better. I am using a green screen, and I've been enjoying that. But one of the things I did just over the past week or so is I actually kind of rethought my, guess what you would call my home office space. It occurred to me over the holiday break when I was just sitting there at the computer, you know, thinking I didn't have to go to work. I was off work at the time. I was looking at the computer. I was like, you know, well, you've been working from home now for what, almost couple of years, right? COVID-19. Jeepers, crikey. But anyway, you've been working at home for 2 years, dude, and you just stare at a wall? Why is your desk facing a wall? Why is your desk facing a wall? So it occurred, so I flipped it around. And that's what I've been doing over the last couple of days here, is making my desk a lot cooler. A lot cooler. So it's now flipped around and I'm looking out at the living room, and I've got a cool little backdrop that's slightly more professional for like office conference calls and things like that, and what have you. So at some point I'll drop the green screen and you can take a look, but not this week, as the green screen is all up and working. So that's what I've been up to. Other than quite a bit of work. So. I have been rolling through. I know I still have some, not much, but I still have a little bit of Extra Life and Movember related work to do here. And I just wanted to let people know, I think I'm going to be able to get that work done tonight. And if not tonight, it'll be tomorrow. But I would expect by Saturday afternoon to have everything kind of wrapped up there. However, there is one person in particular who I know has been waiting for me to get back to him on Twitter, and I haven't been able to find your message to me. So I'm trying. But at the very least, I know who you are on Twitter, so I will try messaging you if I have to. But we'll see how that goes. So either way, if you still haven't heard from me and you need anything Extra Life related, and you haven't heard from me on Monday, get in touch with me. Because I probably will have accidentally misplaced your information or your donation. And I do want to make sure I get you your stuff. There was about a page and a half of private messages that came in over the holiday break, and I haven't gotten to those yet. So I'm pretty much backlogged to, I guess, December about 18th. So last time I was able to really work on Extra Life related things. But I'm going to be doing that work tonight or this weekend. So should be able to get back to everybody by then. It's also giving me a chance to sort of reevaluate my lighting situation. Now, I actually look a little weird today because I've lost one of my key lights. One of my key lights is not working. It's busted. It just stopped lighting this morning. So that was my phone ringing, by the way. Someone's trying to get in touch with me. Don't they know I stream? No, they don't. Why doesn't the snowblower person know what my streaming schedule is? That's what I want to know. All right. So what have you been up to? Both in Lotro and, I guess, in recent weeks. What would you like me to talk about? Swapped from facing the living room to facing the wall. But you can see out the back windows for birds and such. Yeah, I did not have like a bird viewing position. It was more of a sealed off wall. It's going to be kind of cool though. I've got a nice desk space and it's much better as a broadcast area too, because I guess as long as I've basically need to be creating a mini broadcast booth, as it were, in my house here for the foreseeable future, it's kind of cool to be able to take a look at the space and then just sort of make adjustments based on what you're actually using it for at the given moment. Which, in my case, is apparently going to be working from home for a while. So, that's just sort of how things go. Not that I mind working from home. I'm actually, I'm kind of a homebody in general, so. Something, play lots of video games. Don't ask me what my microphone is. You'll be here forever. Sadly true. It's an Audio-Technica AT2020 Plus. See, that wasn't so bad. I think if I were to make a microphone purchasing decision today, I might go in a slightly different direction. But overall, it's a long-term standard for a reason. It's been real good. Alright, there's my drakes and worms done. Working on the eggs and the injured dwarf folk. I see one over here too. Can I look into your missing 6-person instance? I mean, so the 6-person instances, I mean, one's not going to magically appear. I hope we didn't lead you astray with bad information, but if we did, I apologize. Do I leave up the lighting? Eventually I'm going to have a better solution than what I'm currently doing, but I actually just have LED lamps, like your standard, twisty kind of desk lamps that are shining in my face along with a couple of other kind of lamps in the living room. So all I really do to get ready to stream is flip them up so that they're pointed at my face. And then I have a thing with clothespins and basically a string that just run across the corner of the ceiling. And I can just kind of quick clothespin up green screen material to get this backdrop. But I do have now a backdrop kind of as well, so should I need it. That thing's pretty big. I can do this. Piece of cake. Alright. That's cool. Oh, there's a mine strike egg. Alright. But I think, eventually it would make sense, because some of the desk lamp LED lighting, although it works in a pinch, as you can see, it's not really as good as a deliberately selected, softer, bright light. So I think, for the purposes of broadcasting, I could really use probably a little bit of a different LED light setup that I might just sort of leave permanently up, whether that because it's parked on the ceiling, or maybe just I don't know, whatever. That might be something I do here in 2022. We'll see. I can tell you that I picked up one of the. You'll see them at your local big box retailer of choice. I got one of those like kind of $30. Kind of junky ring lights, LED ring lights with a little plastic stand that you see at like your kind of Walmarts and Targets and that. And it worked okay because ultimately it is literally just a string of LED lights in a plastic case. But you don't actually need that. If all it is LED lights, well, then you can make your own lighting solution with a little bit piece of plastic and some LED lights, or you can buy something a little more professional to get a stand and what have you. I ended up, because the reason I bring it up is I think I paid, gosh, about $30 for that LED light solution from the big box retailer, and honestly, it's never been very good. And it died in no time. So I think I would suggest a different solution than perhaps If the question were to this community manager, hey, should I buy those $30 kind of junky looking LED lights at your average US big box retailer? I think I'm gonna say no. It worked in a pinch for me during COVID and that. But was it actually good? I think so. I think I would have been better off finding something else. Go. This way, huh? Yep, okay. Oh, yes, thank you for reminding, your name, Adiel, because you're involved in this, triggered my memory that there was one other event I wanted to make sure that I got the word out about on the show here. Let me try to do that and not get killed by a large drake. Now, where was that now? I had linked to it in the beacon, so I can find it there. Give me a quick second. Yes, so there's a streamer by the name of Queen Perwethian, and it's twitter.com/Perwethian, which is Perwethian. Has reached out to a bunch of folks and put together what they're calling themselves the Pretty Girls Army, a 36-hour charity stream extravaganza. That's going to be taking place end of February to benefit the Sanctum House. And you can read up more about what that is just with a quick Google search. And that's going to have Queen Perwethian, Adiel Valathorn, and let's see, Professor Teacher G, Gussie Marie, Loopy Loads, and a whole bunch of people, a few names I'm less familiar with, sorry. But a nice, large group of folks doing a charity stream. So, hope it's something you might want to check out. And I know Adiel is a longtime supporter and viewer of Lotra Stream here, so I did want to make sure I returned the favor and promoted the event you were involved in as well, because it sounds like a pretty good time. Now, I also got Queen Perwethian a whole bunch of points codes to give away for that event as well. So that should be something you might well find yourself interested in. Alright, so I think all I got is the one over there, huh? So I guess I'm heading over there, and while I'm doing that, beat cave claws and deep claws while I make my way over there. No problem at all. Alright. And how about I go the correct way? Sort of. Is that the correct way? Yeah, that's the correct way. Cave claws. Alright. I think someone's basically saying, people keep asking about the graphics update and we never really provide any info. What should we read into that? I would say you should read into that we'll announce it when we're in a position to announce something. And that's really all I could say is, that's not the kind of project or announcement that we're just going to kind of flippantly answer a question to on a live stream. It would be a fairly significant announcement on the part of the studio. And I believe that were we to ever do something like that, we would definitely want to make that announcement in a very coordinated fashion. So it's not something you would likely just kind of see me answer off the cuff, hopefully, on the live stream here. So that's all I'd read into that. It's too big a question to just kind of be like, oh yeah, or whatever, So. I don't know about the Dreer Spire 6-person instance you're talking about. I'm sorry. I will have to look into that and get back to you. Should get out of the ice for a second. I've seen some questions about, hey, can you talk about the lag? And, I mean, I can.
I need help. The Ungmarim are committing atrocities in the houses of rest.
Reninia already, I think, addressed everything that we could say about that earlier in the show. We are aware of it. We do have some things we're investigating that you'll be seeing on Bull Roar, maybe visibly or even invisibly in the near future. But things should be pretty good in terms of hopefully seeing some positive steps forward in the coming week. Alright, Chapter 7.1, The Houses of Rust. Hail, friend! Are you here to study the tombs in the Houses of Rust? Well, it's not truly a scholarly mission that brought me hither. I would like to know the names of the dwarf families that lie entombed here. Okay. We got about 10 minutes or so I think we're doing okie dokie. Why, hello, Ungmarim warriors. In setting up a new display bookshelf for behind the camera, I got an opportunity to be like, alright, what is the minimum you would expect from yourself in terms of Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings swag that be there? And so I was like, well, I definitely am going to put the books that Agent Brigman sent me recently. And so I have a nice one copy of the trilogy behind me on camera. And then I've got an original Mithril Edition DVD style case box, along with the classic, a classic one for the other game as well. And so that's all I've really done so far. I don't want it to become a work shelf too much, but I do have a few other cool pieces of swag I could do. And so I'm considering it. But I also wanted it to be kind of evergreen, so it's not just for work, right? Because it is for other things as well. But it's cool. I was like, well, if I don't have an office anymore, what's the bare minimum I want displayed? So I do. Even if I'm not green screened, I will make sure to rep the Lotro. So there we go. Get out this way? Yes. do like playing, I do indeed like playing my champion, that and just having them all die like that. That is a very nice thing. It is very nice, let me say. Alright. I need a cat pick and a cuckoo clock. I have the cat thing covered. You've probably seen it in the background of the old living room shots, but I can bring it out here in just a second. Right now, though. For I hear the sounds of battle. Go. Alright. Yeah, here we go. Alright. This is one of the greatest pillows of all time. Let me make sure I've got X split up so I can see what I'm showing off. Look at this. Also, that looks like my head, so I think I'm going to grab a screenshot of that. Is that not the greatest pillow of all time? Tell me it isn't. Fix the lag. We do have work that we'll be doing in the coming weeks to hopefully see some improvements there. And thank you for feedback. Oh, Kierstig.
Yes?
Okay. That one's done. What do I got next? There must be a tomb around here I'm not seeing. Right? Oh, that's just Bori. Okay. And I'm not ready to speak to him yet. So, which way do I want to go? I think I want to go down this way. It's getting kind of undeady in here. Alright. Uh-oh. Maybe... Yeah. Oh no! No, I died on camera. Oh well. That's called biting off more than you can chew. At least I'm not too far away. You know, it's actually 12:57 here, so I think I'm gonna probably just call it here. This seems like about as good a place as any. By the time I'd get back there, I think we'd be mostly ready to end the show. So let me kind of just see if I got any final things to talk about here. I don't see anything I can answer on Twitch. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at YouTube. Can I qualify that, please? Can I qualify that? Please do. Or lag in general. Yeah, go back. We did have Reninia talk about that today earlier on in the show, so I guess I'd refer you to that. We have some change lists that are hopefully coming into the next few patches that'll be previewed on Bullroar. Some of them will get release notes, some of them will not. Some of them are more environmental in nature, some of them are a little more experimental in nature. But overall, we do have some targeted fixes for game performance in the relatively near future that'll be previewed as well. So that's really all I'm in a position to say today. But overall, we have been doing heavy investigation for quite some time now related to game performance, and we expect to see some of the results. We've been we've been doing stuff, but we are going to be doing more, and more will be ready to roll out here, I believe, in the very near future. That cat pillow was just something. It was actually a animal shelter was selling them as a fundraiser, and I saw that pillow and I was like, "Well, that's the greatest pillow I've seen in a long time." On top of that, it looks like my cat, so I went and picked it up. I have no idea where you might be able to acquire it. Sorry. All right. Thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings, then. I will be back next Friday with more. Now, we've done roughly 2 weeks with Pit of Stonejaws, although neither of them were full sessions. So I think I might do Pit of Stonejaws again next week, but if not, we'll be heading into one of the different zones of Fate of Gundabad. Reminder, next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Casual Stroll with Scenario, and that'll be on twitch.tv/LotraStream. You can find the full schedule over on Twitch. Archives are available on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'll see you next week. Have fun.